name is Monica, and I'm going to be leading the Portfolios Module staff training. Today on the agenda, we're going to go over Learning Genie app basics as well as web basics that correspond with the DRDPs. Then we're going to see how families submit observations. So I'll show you the cycle from beginning to end, and how you are going to go ahead and finish with adding the measures and also managing that on your guys' educators app, or if you're using the web. And then last but not least, we'll have that Q&A session at the end. Okay, so we're going to start off first with the app. We're going to go over how to create a portfolio note, how to take group observations, then individualize them. Also, how to rate using the portfolio status method. So let me go ahead, and now you guys are going to see a new screen. And just a couple of seconds here. And by the way, happy Friday. I know for some of you guys, it was the first week back to school. And, you know, my daughter as well, she started school, and it's definitely something that's been crazy. So happy Friday, everybody, and enjoy the weekend. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on my educator app here, and I'm going to sign in. And there we go. So I'm going to enter my classroom, and we're going to be on the yellow portfolios tab. Now, once we're on this tab, very first step in adding a portfolio note is we're going to go to the red plus sign up here. Once we go ahead and click on that, we will see the add portfolio note page where we're going to enter in what we observed and add our measures. An easy way to remember is your text, your tags, and your kids. Text being the observation, tags being the measures, and your kids who participated in that observation. So let's go ahead and enter a single observation right now just for Stacy. So we're going to go ahead and write one for her. Let's see. Let's think of, okay. Now, in this section, it can be as long as you'd like, so there is no limit to how many characters. There just has to be something saved in order for the note to save. Okay, so I just wrote Stacy was counting how many cups were filled with water, and in total she counted 8 cups. Now you can go ahead and attach media as well. You can add a photo, you can take a photo or video, you can add a video, or you can even add a voice recording. The video length is up to 5 minutes, so that's something we improved from before. And then you can also use the hold to talk if you are on a device. This is not available on the web, just on the device. And then I do recommend as a tip for you guys to turn on your spell check, which should be available in your settings depending on what device you are using. And then that'll be super helpful when you're writing all this out. Then you can just tap on the word that's spelled incorrectly and it'll auto fix it for you. Okay, so we went ahead and we entered our observation. Now for those of you who don't or maybe have not used this before, I'm going to tap on where it says reference. Once there, I can see the guide for my DRDP framework. In this case, it's preschool. However, it will match the one assigned to your classroom. We have all of the guides on there. And that's just a good reference if you need to go to a certain page. If you're new to the DRDPs, this is going to be a great tool for you too. Now from here, we're going to now go to the measures. Now to access them, we can click on the drop down next to any of the domains and go ahead from there and then choose which measures we're going to apply. There's no limit either to how many you can select for an observation as long as that is the correct measure to apply. Okay, once done, then we can go to the child section. Now for here, we have Stacy, so we're going to leave it as is. And then before we post, we'll see 2 icons down here. The one with the date. Every time you post a note, it'll always update with the current date. However, you can go back in and then change the date too. The one on the right is going to be to share with your families. If you select this, then the families are going to get it depending on which children are tagged. So it'll only go out to their families. They're only going to see what was written, so the observation, any media, and then that's it. They're never going to see the measures that you guys selected. Once done, we're going to go ahead to that blue check mark and we're going to post. There we go. So now that has been posted and we see it under Stacy's portfolio. And she's the one highlighted green. You can toggle back and forth with the children to go ahead and add anything to their portfolios or to simply just view them. So let's go to Lily and let's go ahead and we're going to add a group observation this time. So we're going to go back to that plus sign and then we're going to enter in one about the group. So we're going to say the group was learning about shapes today. They had a pile of blocks and the teacher was showing them which shape each of them was. They learned about triangles, circles, and squares. Okay, and then once done, we're going to go to our measures and go ahead and select which apply. And then we're going to go to the children, but because this is a group observation, we're going to select all. Now, if there are children who, let's say, were not there today, all you need to do is tap on them and then untap the children who were not there. So you only want to leave the children highlighted green who were in the observation. Once done, we're going to go to the blue check mark to post. However, this time, let's say I was doing this observation, but I ran out of time. And so I'm going to go ahead and save it as a draft, and then I can go back to it later. Okay, so then now that it's saved as a draft, it'll always look like this with the light red film. You'll have to go back in to the pencil icon and select edit and then update to add in any other information or to finish posting. This is also a good tool to use if you're ever somewhere where there's no internet. Learning Genie is not web-based, meaning that you can't save everything even if there's no internet connection. Now, an example would be if you took a field trip to the beach or maybe to the park or somewhere else, and then you wanted to still document an observation and save it, but there's no internet, so you can't save it as a draft. And then once you're back in the classroom, you can finish posting it. Now from here, I'm going to go ahead and add a photo. So I'm going to add this photo right here. And actually, let's add one with the group. There we go. Our photo is there, and we're going to go ahead now and post. Okay, so now we see our observation here. And if we go up, we can see it in every single child's portfolio except for Gidget, who was not there today. So she will not have one in hers. Now, what about individualizing one of these observations? In order to save time, the way to do it is we're going to go ahead and select on the pencil icon for edit, and then we're going to update. In this case, we're going to go ahead and update Mark's portfolio. So we're going to say Mark was putting the blocks into piles depending on the pattern he observed. He identified 3 patterns. We're going to do, let's see, striped blocks, dotted blocks, and solid blocks. Okay, so we went ahead and we added what we observed Mark doing. Then we're going to go ahead, if we want, we can add more media that pertains just to him. Then we're going to go down here and add any additional measures. And then we're going to be in the children, and this is where we want to leave only Mark, because that's the only child who we are individualizing for. So we're going to untap the other children and we're going to make sure only him is left. Then we're going to go back up to the check mark and we're going to post. A new window will pop up asking us to transfer the rating, which we're going to transfer the rating. So now what will happen is his portfolio should have retained the new observation with the added text about him and any added measures or media. The other children will have the same group observation unchanged. There we go. And this will save you guys lots of time when you guys are doing it this way. We've had users before who will do a group observation, but then they'll create a brand new note in every single child who they need to individualize for. And that is a lot of work. So this is just a shortcut for you guys if you choose to use it. And the way that you would double check your work is just making sure the group observation remains the same for the children who are not being individualized, and that individualized child gets the new updated observation. Okay, now let's go ahead and move on to the ratings. Now, even though you can rate in more than just one method on Learning Genie, we're going to go over the portfolio status method, and that's because that method would allow you to see exactly what a child has and what they still need and what you need to work on. So to get there, we're going to go up here to this bar graph icon. Once tapped, then we're going to open it up and we'll see the portfolio status page where there's always 3 categories, with the top one being your rated measures, your unrated, meaning measures that need ratings, and your unobserved category with here, there's 46 measures that have no notes and no ratings. Now I can go from there to another child. Let's see, for example, Lily, I can see she has 5 rated, 21 that need ratings, and 30 that are completely unobserved. So let's go ahead and rate hers by tapping on the measure. We're going to select COG1. And we can review the evidence, which will appear here, and then apply the rating. So the rating scales will be different as well, depending on the framework that's being used. Once we select a choice, in this case, exploring earlier, we're going to press the blue check mark and post. And now it's going to move it into the top category, indicating it has been rated. So let's go ahead and choose another one. We'll do COG6. And we can go ahead now and see, again, the evidence and then apply the rating. And then the blue check mark to post. And then one more time so everybody can see, let's go COG2, classification. We're going to review the evidence and then apply the rating. And then blue check mark to post. Now you'll notice some of these have in numbers, there's a parentheses, and then it'll have a 2, some have a 3, some have a 1. What that's indicating is how many pieces of evidence per measure. Now I would double check with your admins on this. Some agencies, they do track this and require 2 pieces of evidence, some maybe 3, and some don't have a requirement. So this is just if you do, it's a way for you to be able to track that. Now, sometimes there's a red dot that appears, and the red dot, like here, is what it'll look like. So let me see, I'll find an example. So if we go to Stacy, we can see, okay, quite a number of measures of hers have a red dot. So all that's letting the teacher know is that there's new evidence that was added. So you can go ahead and either, for example, I'm going to open up COG1. Now, anytime something new is updated on a note, the red dot will appear, whether it was additional text that was added, or whether another note was added with that same measure tagged, or maybe it was media such as a photo or a video. So that is all that it is telling you. Okay, now let's go ahead and go back. So that was rating using the portfolio status method. Now on here, a couple other things. Now up at the top where it says domain, if you ever need to pull and see all the notes that are under ATL reg, you can go ahead and check this checkbox and select done, and then the system will pull all those notes for you. So it's really helpful if you want to, see the notes that you have currently and then also what you have tagged for them. If you ever need to reference previous assessment periods, you can click on the date field over here. and go and select other. So here we have winter and spring. You can also set your custom date field and then view all of those notes as well. Okay. Now, whoops, let's go back and we're going to switch screens again. We're going back to the website. Oh, let's see. There we go. So we went over creating that portfolio note, taking the group observations and individualizing, then rating using that portfolio status method. Now moving on to the web basics, we're going to log in through learning-genie.com. We're going to see how to pull PDF portfolios, the different reports that you can see, as well as your dashboard, and also the differences between the app and the web. And then we will go over the lesson plan feature and how you guys can use that and the benefits of doing so too. Okay, so let's go ahead and there we go. So right now I'm on learning-genie.com. I recommend you bookmark the page so you don't have to be searching for it every time on Google. From here, we're going to head over to the sign in button and we're going to go ahead and sign in. Okay. And once signed in, we are going to now enter our classroom simply by going ahead and clicking. Then we're going to be on that portfolio tab right here. And on the left, we'll see the menu of the children in our classes. To toggle back and forth, all we need to do is click on them. Now you'll notice the icons up here. So quick search, just like the app, ability to search by different assessment periods. Class status, so here you have your reports. If we go to report, we have access to 3 different kinds. The first one is based on the last assessment period. So if you're new to Learning Genie, you will not be able to use this until your next assessment period. Then we have formative results based on the current assessment period. And here you can see, okay, these children for ATL Reg 1, they have already been rated, they fell here. These children have not been rated at all yet. Then you have your observation status showing you an observed group versus an unobserved group. And all of these reports you can go ahead and export as a PDF too and save for personal or also interagency use. Now, whoops, let me go ahead and minimize this so I can see the chat because I did see a question here. Okay. So, yes, question from Deanna. The view is going to be different if you're using the web versus if you're using the app. And also you have access to different things. For example, these reports cannot be accessed on the app. They are only on the web. Same as your dashboard, only on the web. So that's a couple of differences there. Now, when you're under class status, which we use to access those reports, we can still also access portfolio status, which was the bar graph icon on the app, where you can see the different categories for what the children have in regards to the measures. It looks like this. And to rate, it's actually the same way. You're just going to click on the measure. You're going to review, then select Rate Me, then select Rate Me again. And then you can go ahead and choose which rating you'd like to apply. And then when you're done, select Save. And then save again. And if you don't want this screen to be popping up every single time, you can choose Do Not Show This Again, and it will not go ahead and pop that every single time. Okay, so now we have rated, and that's been placed in the top category. And then let's go ahead and do one more. Let's do LLD 6. We can review. Go ahead to the Rate Me icon, select that once more, choose which rating we're going to apply, then save, and then save again. And now that one's also been placed in the top category. So to access that, we're going to go under class status and then see our portfolio status. Now, right next to that is the PDF button where we can pull a one by domain or one by dates. And we also have the ability to save time and pull the entire class. It'll download a folder and place all the individual portfolios in that file. So let's go ahead and download the one by domain first. And this one can be downloaded in English, Spanish, Chinese, or Vietnamese. And there it goes. Let's open that up. And first thing we're seeing is the cover page showing you information about your agency, your class, the student, their name, parents, as well as teachers, and the framework. Then we're going to see the assessment period over here, all of the measures and their name and any rating that was applied. And at the very end, we're going to see the actual notes with what was put as the text and also any kind of media too. So that's just how it's going to look when you pull the PDF by domain. Now, if you pull the one by date, this one looks similar. Let's go ahead and open it. However, it is different. So here's the cover page. And here we can see they added the assessment period. And then here we're seeing all of the observations and the measures tagged, but not the ratings. So the ratings will never show on this PDF. Now, this is one that agencies do use to show their families because of that same reason, because it's not showing the ratings. Okay, so to get there, it's PDF, drop down, and then you can select which choice. Now, adding a portfolio note on the web. To get there, we're going to go to the plus sign just like we would on the app. You'll notice the color scale on here is blue, while on the app it was different. It was green and red. Now, once we are here, it'll open up a new page to add a portfolio note where we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do a practice one. So I'm still on Stacy. She's up here. To change students, you're just going to go ahead and check the box for any of the students you'd like to add and uncheck the other. Or you can also select all to select all those children. Okay, so we're going to say okay. Once we have input that, we're going to select the measures now, right where it said domain. Now, it's important that on the web, you do not check off the box. The reason, it's going to select all of the measures. So you want to go ahead and first open up the drop-down. Then you can go ahead and select which measures apply. Okay. Once you have those selected, you're going to select and then it'll be added just like so. Now, if you're on the web and you need to attach photos, you can click on here on this square and it's going to open up where you can import from your computer. If you need to attach a file, such as a PowerPoint, Excel, or Word, you can attach it from here. For example, if I'm going to choose, let's find a PowerPoint. There we go. If I attach this PowerPoint, I can select open. It's going to upload the document first, and then you can go ahead. Once it looks like this, where you see the attachment, then you'll be able to go ahead and save that note because you'll know that it has uploaded successfully. Now, let me go ahead 1 second here. Alrighty. Now, once that's done, we're going to go ahead and select save. And now this is going to post to Stacy's portfolio. And there we go. We see it as so. Now, from here, let's go up to the top. And now we're going to check out our dashboard. So right next to home where it says dashboard, we can click on assessment progress. Once there, we'll be able to review all of the information with the classrooms that we are assigned to. So I only have one, but if you have more than one, you can view it as a view all together or separate, just one classroom at a time. And it allows you to filter that up here. Now here I have my classroom using DRDP preschool. Here's my total progress. If I go down, I can see, okay, Stacy, Lily, the days left, there's 41. The due date is October 8th, and this is their progress. Now, none of the children are locked. What that means is that a child can only be locked if the required measures are complete. If they are not, they will not be able to be locked. Now, for example, if I check the status of Stacy, a new window will open where I can see, okay, so 56 measures she's required to complete. She has only done 23. 3 still need to be rated, and 30 need to be worked on. If a teacher tried to lock her, the system will automatically not let her because she has not completed the required measures. Okay, now let's exit out of there. So this is going to be a very useful tool to just check the status of the kids in your classroom. Now, you'll get a weekly email showing you this as well. Okay, let's go back to home. Now, let's head over to our lesson plan. So over here is lessons. Let's click on that. Now, this is a public lesson plan library. It's available to all of our users. Feel free to browse through and see the different plans that we have. And you can also see what framework they correspond with by seeing it right here. So I'm going to choose this one as an example, and it's the bottle cap name. So here, the lesson plan, we can view it. We can see exactly what it is. So this one, children will form their name by using bottle caps with letters. The target age group is 3 to 5. The framework is DRDP preschool. Then the measures this will accomplish is LLD 1, 3, and PD Health 4. It tells us what materials, the prep time, the instructions, and also any goals. And even here it says child response and suggested rating. Now, if you choose to use this, you can go up to the top on the right, select apply, and a new window will open up with the measures already tagged. All you need to do is add who participated. Let's say Stacy, Lily, and Mark. Select, and then the date is already August 28th, but you can change it if needed. Then you're going to save. A new window will pop up after that saying, oh, one second here, my computer froze there. Okay, there we go. And it's telling you the lesson plan was applied and a note was created. So to please confirm and go to the portfolio page to view the note. So we're going to select confirm. Then it redirected us back to the portfolio page. Here we see. We're going to now select edit. And because it was a pre-made lesson plan, the observation is not there. So that's what we need to do. So we're going to add in our own observation. So we're going to say Stacy, Lily, and Mark created their names with the assistance of Miss Lauren using bottle caps. We used the bottle cap lesson. And then there we go. And once we're done here, we're going to select save. And now that note has been created with the children tagged and the measures and my observation. You can also add in media too when you're on that edit page. Now the benefit to these is that it saves you time. It also helps you see what lesson plans correspond with which domains. So it's a good learning tool as well. And you can also upload your own lesson plans by selecting My Lesson Plans, then uploading one of your own, which you can add a name for. You can even upload photos or videos. Select a theme, which framework it applies to and what measures. And then fill in all of the rest of the different fields. Now the concept is the same. If you decide to use one of your own, the system will still create the note for you with the measures tagged and the children, and you'll just need to add in that observation. Okay. Now let me check the chat really quick. I'm gonna see if there's any questions. Oh, and then important thing to note, the lesson plan currently is only available via the web. It is not on devices. Okay, so I see a question from Deanna. Can you show how to make an observation from a picture from a parent in messages? So yes, we're going to cover that next, and that's going to be how we're going to have our families assist us with these observations. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go back to the other slide. Okay. So we just went over this as a recap, the web basics, differences, lesson plans, and also PDFs. Now, before we head into the question that Deanna had asked, this is first off an example that you guys can use. It's about hosting your virtual classrooms and how you can use those to create observations. Now, it doesn't matter whether you use Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Google Hangouts. In this activity, the families are playing Simon Says. There's 2 staff. However, you do not need 2. You can have 1. In this scenario, 1 staff is leading the activity and the other is just observing in the background. The observing teacher will focus on one family at a time and click on their image to bring it forward to the center view. Once there, they're going to record what that family is doing and stop the recording once they're done recording that family. The reason we say to stop is because otherwise it'll place the recording in one big file versus small individual files per family. And then once the virtual classroom event is over, Zoom automatically puts them all into a file that you're able to use. Now, Google Hangouts does the same with Microsoft Teams. I am not personally familiar. However, we do have an FAQ that's sent out afterwards that will show more on there. Now I'm going to show you a video of what I mean. Whoops, went ahead a little bit there. Okay, and I'm going to play it for you guys. Let me know if you cannot see it or hear it. Okay, so we're going to now go ahead and play. Put it in full screen. And there we go.
Hi, this is Dr. Ben Finio. I'm a lecturer at Cornell University, and this video is an abbreviated version of my longer Zoom tutorial for students that is just going to go over all of the different view controls, because I think this is the most confusing part for many people. So if you've been in a meeting and heard a phrase like, oh, go to speaker view and pin the video, and you have no idea what that means, this video is for you. Now, when you first load Zoom, you will probably see pictures of everybody about equal size like this, and this is called gallery view. And this can work well for a meeting or maybe a small discussion-based class, but odds are if you're a student attending a traditional class or a lecture, you really just want to see a big picture of the teacher and not tiny thumbnails of all the students. So to get to that, you can go to the upper right and switch to speaker view, which will give you one large video in the middle and a list of smaller thumbnails across the top. Now, Zoom will do its best to show whoever is currently talking here. So if you have somebody who forgot to mute their microphone and is picking up a lot of background noise, it might show them here instead of the teacher. So to make sure you're seeing the teacher, in this case, Mr. Moose is the meeting host, he's the one teaching the class, you can right-click on their video and select Pin Video. That will make them bigger on your screen even if somebody else talks. So odds are if you're attending an online class, the instructor might be sharing their screen somehow, either showing PowerPoint slides or writing on a tablet. So for example, we're going to have Mr. Moose share a PowerPoint file here.
Okay, and that went a little bit ahead. However, you guys can feel free to view this on your own. It does go into various types of views that you can have. However, the one that you'll need to use for the observation is to pin the video. And that will bring that video who you're choosing in front and center, which will then allow you to record. And then once you have that observation downloaded after your event is over, then you can attach that to your observation if you're on the app or if you're on the web. Okay, now let's go back here and back to the slides. Now here's just steps relating to that way that you can use those virtual events for. And now we're going to go into converting the observations to portfolios. So we'll see how teachers can send those activities to the families, how families can submit them through the parent app, how teachers then take them into DRDP evidence and convert, and then they complete it by adding the measures. Now, before we head and see it live, this is an example. You guys can feel free to use it or refer to it. So there's just 3 guidelines we put. So 1, clearly explain to the families what they need to do, and then make it easy so that they can complete it at home, meaning you try to use, materials that are found at home, because not all families have access to go buy many materials or also to have to a printer. 2, let them know what the activity focuses on. So in this example, we use shapes, and then also give an example of how they complete the activity so it can be very clear to them. In this one, they are to take at-home materials to make shapes with them, and then the families are to send those via the message center, and they can make shapes such as triangles, squares, rectangles, or circles. Okay, now let's go ahead and share to see it live. Okay, there we go. So first thing, I'm going to be on my parent app and open that up. So here I can see my parent app, and I'm going to look at the activity that my child's teacher would like me to do. So let's see. So for this week's at-home activity, they would like us to use laundry to sort and count. And the theme of the week is counting to 10 and sorting by colors. They would like us to record a video or send a photo of our child doing this. And as an example, they said we can use socks and sort them by different colors and also count how many pairs. They attached a reference to the lesson plan for the week as well. So as a parent, I'm now going to go to my message center by clicking on the orange icon down here. Then I'm going to go again to my message center. I'm going to tap on my child's photo to access that. Then once I'm here, I'm going to go to the plus sign. Then I'm going to choose the one that's the little house. I'm not going to choose the picture or the video or the camera. I'm going to choose the house because it's already pre-formatted to fit into that observation. So now I'm going to put what I did with my child and what I observed her doing. So I'm now going to say, Stacy sorted. I'm going to use the same example. The socks from her laundry pile. First, she sorted them by pairs and was able to identify 6 pairs. Then she sorted them by colors and identified 4 colors, which were black, white, pink, and gray. Now, I went ahead and I wrote my observation. We want to recommend the families to also add in evidence. So to please add either a photo, take a photo or a video, or add a video or even a voice recording. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and add a photo. And I see it here. And then I'm going to send that to my child's teacher. So now it has been sent. And if your families do use other languages, they can go ahead and type it out in the language that they have chosen. Let's say it's Spanish. It'll auto-translate back to the staff in English every single time. So from here, I'm now going to go to my educator app. I'm going to log in. And I'm going to go to my classroom and then go to my message center. In my message center, I will see the observation that my family member sent. And then I will go ahead and I will hold down and I will save to portfolio draft. So that's the choice you want to make. You don't want to choose any of the other ones. Once I have that saved, I'm going to go back. I'm going to switch to the portfolios tab. And then I'm going to see it here as a draft. And then I'm going to go ahead and tap on the pencil icon. And then I'm going to select update. And then I can now go ahead and finish the observation by adding which measures apply to this one. Whoops, added the wrong one there. There we go. Once done, I'm now going to go ahead and post it. And that is how you can have families help you with these observations, and you complete the cycle by adding the correct measures that apply. Now, this is something that can only be done via the app currently, not the web. So that's just another reminder. Now I'm going to go to the next slide. So these are activities that you guys can do at home and using the DRDP as a guide. So the domain is listed next to all of the activities, like Simon says. Let's go on the hunt, sorting, counting, patterning, planting flowers and observing the growth, sing songs and then wash your hands, engaging with books, making Play-Doh letters. Then we also have how we can think about observations. So we would like parents to think like the teachers when they are observing. So here are a couple guidelines. One, being objective. So using simple descriptions, removing judgment of behaviors. Then we're going to also have them follow the ABCs. So putting the antecedent of what happened before, the behavior, what the child did, and the consequence, meaning what the behavior caused. Then we're going to also, if we'd like, add a little introduction depending on what developmental area we're covering, whether that's cognitive, social, emotional, language, physical development, or health. Here's an example that you can send to them as well, where it's showing an example of a family sending that. There's a text description, then they're staying objective. They're adding that evidence, whether it's a photo or a video or a sound recording. And now I'm going to show you examples of user-submitted observations. So let's go ahead and play the first one. Okay, and let's press play.
Como una, como algo.
¿Qué es?
Es como una square. Es un square.
Me encanta ese cuadro. ¿Y cuántos ángulos tiene tu cuadro?
Tiene uno, dos.
So in that example from a user who submitted that, we saw the child using chalk to then create different shapes, and that they used the chalk to create a square, and we're even seeing how many angles were in that square. Now let's go to the next one.
Así. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho.
And in that one we saw, and they were using laundry to go ahead and count all the different socks. Okay, so now we're back here, and those were submitted by Laura Maldonado from Soledad, California. Let's go back to present. Okay, and then here is just our resources page of things you can do at home, and also experiments, the lesson plan feature, NACE article on understanding behavior through observation, and the different frameworks as well that are listed. And then this is just once more a reminder about the certificates. And most importantly here, we have how we can support. So this line is for immediate assistance. You can call us and we can go ahead and help you. The email is also for immediate assistance. However, the response time can vary depending on the severity of the question or how long or difficult it may be. Now, we encourage you guys to sign up for future webinars, and as always, you can access our YouTube channel full of different informational videos. We actually recently updated, so it includes many videos now in Spanish as well. So you'll You'll notice what they are for. It'll say, for example, parents, staff members, administrators, and then you can see the topics that they cover. And then it even tells you what devices. So for those of you who are using iPads versus the web or even Android. Alrighty, now let's go ahead and check that chat. The good thing right now is we do have a couple minutes, so we can go ahead and review anything you guys would like to see done. I can go ahead and demonstrate it. Now let's see the questions. So can you print the lesson plans? Question from Ida. Everybody have a great weekend. Go ahead and enjoy it. And then I will see you